Hi everyone. Today is my last day of streaming for the Daily Chess Musings chess camp. Today is Friday, but of course I'm going to be doing more live streaming in the future. So right now I'm going to go ahead and continue to set up. So we're going to start. Hi everyone. Welcome to my live stream. I am going to go ahead and officially start at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So that's gonna be in a couple more minutes. I just need time to set up, so please be patient with me. Okay, so I think this is good. I'm gonna probably yeah, we're gonna officially start at in a couple minutes. So again, please be patient with me right now. Um Hi Ronald. Thank you for joining my live stream again. Okay, so you guys, in about 3 minutes, I will officially start. So feel free to say hi in the chat. Hi everyone, welcome to my live stream. Please be patient. I am gonna officially start in 2 minutes at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Right now I'm setting up, so please be patient. In the meantime, if you want to ask me a question, or if you want to tell me what you want to learn today, feel free to just type in the chat box on YouTube. Okay, we've got less than 1 minute left. Still setting it up. Hi everyone, welcome. Hope that everyone is having a good day at the chess camp, or if you're just joining outside the camp, welcome. We're gonna start very soon, and today what I'm going to teach you is actually okay. So you guys, what I'm going to do right now is I have a puzzle to show you, and in this puzzle it is checkmate in 3. So go ahead and figure this one out. It is white to move. So it's you have to kind of have to think out of the box right now. Notice that this king, it can't go to these squares, but also notice this king can go to h6. So I hope that this puzzle, I hope you will find this puzzle to be challenging. So if you guys wanna type something, in the chat box, feel free to do that. Um, yes. So, I can if you yeah, just feel free to chat yeah, type something in the chat box. Mhm. So it's white to move. It's a checkmate in 3. So what should white do? Okay. So I'm gonna give you guys the first move, and the first move is pawn goes to h5. And with this move, the king only move is to go to h6. Yep, h okay. So we got 1%. Okay, yep, it's h5. So the pawn is checking the king, and then the king's only move is to go to h6. And now it is a checkmate in 2. Do you guys see the checkmate in 2? Okay, so Moldavi says rook to f6. Yep. Okay, so Moldavi actually got it right. Um, so rook goes here, and then you might be asking, yeah, but that doesn't make sense because the pawn can just take it. Actually, this is the best move because the pawn has to take it, and then this bishop can go to f8, and then this is a checkmate. So you have to remember is like if you have a lot of pieces close to your opponent's king, what you want to do is you want to calculate a couple moves ahead and try to find like a checkmate or a forcing winning line. So in this position, it just happens to be a checkmate. So I think this is very beautiful checkmate. Okay, so what I'm gonna do right now is I am gonna go ahead and do a review from yesterday. Yesterday, I taught you how to checkmate with a queen and a king versus a king and a rook. And I taught you this position. So this is just a review. If you guys remember, what you need to do is it is right to move, but we want to um, accomplish the same position, but we want it to be black to move. Um, and in order to get into this position where it's black to move, we need to make a triangle movement with the queen. So remember, the queen goes here, a1, and then the queen is going to go back to a5. So the first move is queen to e5, and then again, if the king goes to c8, then if you guys remember correctly, the queen can go to e8, that is checkmate, and also notice the queen can also go to h8, and that would also be checkmate. So therefore, this black king should just go to a7 or a8. So I'm going to go ahead and move the king to a7, and we're still going to complete this triangle with the queen. Also notice, again, if you remember correctly, the queen likes to be on the long diagonal. So the queen goes to a1, and that's good. And then notice how black's only move is to go to b8, and then we move the queen to a5, and then now it is black to move. So we this is the exact same position, but the only difference is it is black to move. Okay, now black needs to move, and again, if the king goes to c8, do you guys remember where to move? So where should white go if white's queen goes here? Okay, so what should white do in this position? Do you guys remember? Okay, so Madavi says queen to a8. So the problem with this move is that the rook can go to b8. And okay, so David Pacheco says queen to a6, and then that pins the rook to the king. And that's very, very important. That's why it's important, like when you're playing chess, pay attention to like what pieces are on the same diagonal. The rook and king, they're on the same diagonal, so therefore queen goes to a6, and then of course black cannot save the rook. So again, if the king goes here, then we just capture the rook, right? So that's what happens if the king goes to c8. Now we can figure out like, okay, well, what happens if the rook goes somewhere else? So again, if the rook goes to b6, we can simply just take it. So that's great. If the rook goes here, we can still simply just take it. If the rook goes to b4, we can simply just take it with the queen. And then the rook, what happens if the rook goes to b3? Do you guys remember what to do? So what do we do if the rook goes to b3? So you guys remember what to do? What should white do? And I'm gonna give you guys a hint. It's with the queen. What should we do with the queen? So yep, feel free to just type something in the chat box on YouTube so I can see it. So yeah. Yep, go ahead and type something. Okay. Okay. So no one is answering my question. So remember the first move is we're gonna go ahead and move the queen over to e5. And remember, in these positions, the queen likes to be on the long diagonal. That's very, very important. So we're gonna go queen to e5 and check the king. And there are three possible moves for this black king to go to. So again, if the king goes to c8, then guess what? We can do checkmate three different ways. We can move the queen here. That's checkmate. We can also go queen to e8. That's also checkmate. And the queen can also go to h8. And that's also checkmate. But now the question is like, what happens if the king goes to a7? What do we do now? Do you guys have any idea right now? Do you guys have any idea right now? So feel free to just chat. Any idea? Never Sleep says queen to a5. Okay. Um Oh, okay. So queen to a5, it doesn't quite work. What we want to do is this queen needs to focus on this long diagonal right now. Okay, because if we go queen to a5 right now, the queen is not on this long diagonal. So queen to a5, it's a good try, but it doesn't quite work because if queen goes here, then the king goes here, and then like what does white do? So it's not quite a5. We want to do another check, but again, the queen's best friend right now is the long diagonal right now. So what is white's best move right now? Do you guys remember? Okay, so David Pacheco says, yeah, so it's queen to, okay, so we have d4. We also have queen to g7. The best move is we want to go queen to g7. All we're trying, okay, so since the king and the rook, since they're far away from each other, what we want to do is we want to try to execute a queen fork, right? So we're gonna go queen to g7. Now this is very, very important. Notice this rook, it's on this diagonal right over here, right? So now there's okay, so this king can go to a couple places. So if the king goes to a6, then what is white's best move? What is white's best move? Do you guys remember what to do? So the best move is we're gonna go queen to a1, and this is a well, this is not quite checkmate, but black's only move is to move the rook over to a3, and then the queen takes it, and then this is a checkmate. So this is why it's important for this queen to be on the long diagonal, right? Okay, so what you do if the king goes here? What would you do now? So remember, queens are very good at making forks. So we can do a fork in this position. So do you guys remember what to do? Okay, so Madavi says queen goes to g8. Okay, so remember we have to consider all checks. Um It is okay, so Never Sleep says queen to h8. Okay, so the problem okay, so the best move is queen to g8 because that is a queen fork, right? That's very, very important. And that's what you want to do. When you're like before you make a move, you need to consider all checks. If you have a queen and if um your opponent's pieces are far away from each other, you gotta look out for queen forks. So queen to g8, this is a queen fork because it's attacking the king and the rook at the same time. So if this king goes here, we can simply just take the rook. Now, what would you do if the rook goes to b8? What would we do now? Yes. So again, you got to consider all checks, and the move is queen to a2, and this is a checkmate. So that's very, very important. Okay. Um, so that was great. If we go back, then again, if the rook goes here, okay, wait. So let's say if the rook goes to b2, then we're gonna do a queen fork by going queen here, and then this wins because once this king gets out of the well, actually no, let's say that the king goes here, then queen takes rook, and then that we win. And then the other question is like, what happens if the rook goes to a b1? Again, all we want to do is we still want to move the queen on the long diagonal. So this is what I taught you guys yesterday. So queen goes here, and again, if the king goes here, then we move here, and then that's a checkmate. And then if the king goes here, remember we still um want to go ahead and um let's see what we can do right now. Um oh my gosh, what do we do right now? Um Yeah, let's go ahead and check with queen to d4. And again, if the king goes to a6, then we go here, and then that's a checkmate. And then if the king goes here, we're gonna simply just move the queen over to h8. And again, I'm sure you have you've seen this pattern before. If the king goes here, then we simply do a queen fork. So so this I hope that you find this to be helpful. And then again, if the king goes this, oh sorry, yeah, I'm gonna move on right now because I know this is a very long review right now. So um, I'm gonna go ahead and move on. So I'm gonna go ahead and go on to another position right now, and so let me go ahead and set up a position for you guys. and I hope you guys are okay. So let me set this up right now. Okay, so the position, you will find this to be beneficial. And the position, this is going to be another end game. And rook and pawn end games, they're very, very common now. Okay. And the position is going to be like this. Okay, so this is it right here. And okay, you guys, so it is white to move right now, and white is going this way. And white should win in this position because white has as up 2 pawns, but we still have to be careful. So the question right now is, what should white do in this position? How should white proceed in this position? So feel free to just type something in the chat box. Okay, so never sleep says rook to b8. Okay, that's a good try. When you go here, it's checking the king, and I'm gonna go ahead and go king to h7, and then what do you think? And then how does white continue? So how should white continue right now? Okay, so Never Sleep says pawn to g6. Okay, here's what the problem is. Again, as I told you before, pay attention to what pieces are on the same line. The rook, the pawn, and king, they're on the same line. So that means this pawn is pinned. This pawn cannot move to g6. If this pawn was not pinned, then that would be checkmate. But the problem right now is this rook. So we can't do pawn to g6. We got to do something else. So what should we do? What should we do, everyone? So we're going to do something else. Okay, Never Sleep says rook to b7 to check. Okay, I like that move. I think that's fair. When you go here, it's checking the king. Notice that when you check the king, you are forcing this king to go to the edge. I am going to go ahead and then go here right now. Okay, so I think we're in a good position right now, but we gotta find a way to win. Okay, Madavi says king to g7. How interesting. Okay. Okay, so if you go king to g6 right now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and go move my rook here and check the king. So what will you do now? Now you gotta find a way to get out of the check. So what do we do? Okay, when Davi says king to f5, okay. King goes to f5. Wow, so some people said h7. Yeah, so you know what I recommend? I do recommend going to h7 because if we move the king out here, I'm gonna just continue to check you, right? This king has nowhere to hide if the king is like this way, right? So yeah, so we're gonna go king to h7. Okay, so that's great. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna just move my rook over here and I'm gonna pin the pawn to the king. So what do we do now? Okay, so a5, and what should we do? Never Sleep says h7. Okay, you guys, that's a good try. So we're gonna go h7, and this seems like a good move because it is checking my king, and you are advancing the pawn. If you do that, of course, I'm gonna go ahead and move the king in a corner, because if I move the king over here, then I'm gonna get checkmated. So that means it makes sense for me to go here. What would you do now? Okay, so Madave and Never Sleep say king to h6. Okay, and this seems like a very strong move because, first of all, the king is protecting this pawn, and you're also threatening checkmate. And what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go ahead and go rook to a6, and I'm checking the king. So what do you guys do now? What happens? So the most obvious move is pawn to g6. But the problem right now is if you go pawn to g6, I'm going to go ahead and take this pawn. And you might be saying, like, why would you do that? Well, guess what? If the king takes it, then guess what? This is stalemate, everyone. This king is not in check, and um this is stalemate. So I'm gonna go ahead and go back a couple moves. The problem right now is moving the pawn to h7. It's a big mistake right now. We don't want to do that. I am gonna give you guys a hint on what to do, because what we want to do is we want to find a way for this pawn to go to g6, and we want this king to successfully get to king to f6, and then we want this rook to go to e6. So we want the two pawns, the king and the rook, they want to be on the same line. Okay, so we need to think about something different. So what should we do? Okay, so king says king to g4. Okay, king goes to g4. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and check. Actually, what we want to do right now is we actually want to move um the rook a little bit closer right now, because again, if we move the king this way, my rook is going to continue to check the king. So we need to move this rook closer, um so the rook can block the check right now. So the move I recommend is, let's go rook to d7. That's my recommendation. So we're gonna go rook to d7, and then I think you will find this move to make sense. So I'm gonna still go here, and then yes, okay. So what should we do now? So we can yep, go ahead and type your answer. So what should I do right now? Okay, so I just moved the rook to b5. What should white do? Okay, rook to g7. Okay. Uh yeah, you could go. Andreas says king to g4. Answer is king to g7. What we're gonna simply do is we can simply just we're gonna go ahead and move the king over um to g7, and what we're going to do is we need to get the king over to eventually to like f3 or e6 right now. Okay, we eventually want to push this pawn up. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is let's say that I continue to check you, and then again, the most obvious move is for this king to go to f5. And then I'm gonna go ahead and check you again. And then what should white do now? Okay, so what should white do to get out of check right now? There's only like I only see like one good answer right now. Okay, so king goes to g6. Not quite. We actually wanna get a little bit closer. No, we're gonna go king to F6 right now. Because we want to eventually get very close to this right now. If the king goes here, then my rook is going to go here, and then I'm checking the king, and then we have to end up moving the king right now, right? So if we go king to f6, this makes sense. And again, if I check, then I can simply just move. We're going to simply just move the king over to e5 right now. And the reason why we're gonna do this is because notice that if the rook does check again, so Andrea says, why not play e7 instead of d7? Um, I think you could go e7. The reason why I chose rook to d7 is because if the rook was on e7, then the king can go here and attack it. But it's I think either move is fine. Um, so we're gonna go king to e5, and now if my rook does check, then what can we do? Yes, okay. So I'm gonna check. What should white move? What should white do? Rook to d5. Yep, we can go rook to d5. See, we are using our rook as a shield right now. This is why I told you guys we need to move the rook closer to the king. Obviously, it's a very bad idea if the rook takes the rook. So what I'm gonna do is I am going to go ahead and then go here. And then, yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and, um, we're gonna go ahead and, um, it is our turn, right? Okay, so what should we do now? So what should we do now? Again, what we wanna do is we wanna successfully, um we successfully want to move this pawn to g6. So let's see. Andreas says rook to d6. Yep, I think that's a good move. You want to offer a rook trade, and of course, I do not want a rook trade. Because if black, if the rooks are traded off, then this is a win for white. So I'm not going to trade rooks. So what I'm going to do is, let's say that I check. And then it is white's move. Where should we go? King to f6, very, very good. And this is very, very important. It's very important to pay attention to like what pieces are on the same line. This rook is checking the king, and also notice this pawn is on the same line as the king and the rook right now. So we need to go king to f6 because the king is protecting the pawn. So that's very, very good. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and move my rook back here. So what do we do now? So what should I do? Andrea says pawn to g6, and that's exactly what you want to do. And we're making very good progress. And guess what? All of our pieces are on the same line. This is the sixth rank, and that's what you want. So that's fantastic. Okay, so we still need to figure out what how to win. And notice, it's a very bad idea for this rook to leave the eighth rank because if I do go to b1 or any of these squares, then you can simply just move the rook over here, and then that's going to be checkmate. These pieces are controlling all of these squares. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just move. Let's say that I check you. And then now, where should we move the king right now? Andrea says king to g5. Okay, we don't exactly want to do that. What we want to do is we want to find a way to trade rooks right now. king to a7. King a7 is the correct move. And the reason why we want to do this is because we are threatening to go rook to d8. And if we go rook to d8, then we are threatening a rook trade. So that's very, very important. And okay, so let's say that the rook goes to a8, and then it is white's turn. What should white do? Yep. So we simply just move the rook to d8, and then this forces a rook trade. So that's very important. So I'm gonna have to trade rooks. King takes it, and then I think I taught you guys this position before. So I'm gonna go ahead and then go here. We still want to win. How do we win in this position? So we gotta find a way to successfully promote one of the pawns to a queen. Yep, so we can go pawn to g7, that works, but also notice that if we, pawn to h7 also works too. Um, so I'm gonna go ahead and go pawn to g7. I'm gonna go ahead and move the king over to h7, and then it is white's move. What should white do? So we're gonna simply, yeah, the king needs to help out. We're gonna go king to e7, and I'm gonna go king to g8, and then how do we continue? Okay, king to f6. Yep, that's the correct move. We're gonna go ahead and go king to f6. The reason why we're gonna do this is because it's protecting the g7 pawn. And the king is also controlling f7. That's good. My only move is king to h7. And then now we can go king to f7. That's great. And then notice that, as I told you before, if this, so remember about the pawn lecture I told you guys about. So this pawn is on it's on the G file. So we want the king to be on f7 so it can control the queening square, and it is protecting the pawn. This is actually not quite stalemate. The king can go ahead and just take the pawn. Um, and then pawn goes here, and then yeah, this is going to be a win for white. So king goes here, and then if you guys remember what to do, it is a checkmate in two. I did show you this. So the review is we're gonna simply just move the queen over to g3 because this forces the king to go to h6, and then now we can go queen to g6, and then that's going to be a checkmate. Okay, so as a recap, I'm gonna tell you guys, yeah, I'll tell you guys the recap right now. You have to remember is okay, so in this position, moving the pawn to h7 is a huge mistake because this is going to lead to a stalemate. Okay, so to properly win in this position, you have to remember to okay, wait, there's a lot of oh yeah, to probably win in this position, you gotta move the rook over like to d7 or e7, and the rook needs to block the rook's check. So that's what you want to do. Rook goes here, so the rook is helping out. Actually, that's not a mistake. Okay, wait. So let's say the rook goes here, and then now you simply just move the pawn to g6, and then notice that the two pawns, like they're all on the same line, and then that's how you win. Okay, and then yeah, it's like once you do that, then you can force like take those. Wait, hold on. Yes, so once you get all the pieces on the same line as the six, yeah, the all the pieces are on the same line, then what you want to do is you want to force a with trade. So that's actually and then that's how you win. Um, and just so that you know, you might be asking, well, how do you win if the pawn goes to h7? If that's the case, then Fox King goes here. We simply just move the king over to e7. King goes here. And then in this position, you have to be very careful because if the king goes to any of these three squares, then this is going to be stalemate. So we're going to simply just move the king over to e6. The black king's only move is to go g7. We're going to simply just move the king over to f5. King goes here. We're going to simply just do a waiting move. We're going to go ahead and go king to g5, king goes to g7, and then this is when we sacrifice the pawn. And then, of course, black's king is going to go ahead and take it, and then now we can simply just move the king to g6. King goes to g8, and then now we simply just move the pawn up, and then black's only move is to go king to h7, and then again we simply just move king to f7 so it can control the queening square, and then there's no way for black to stop the pawn from queening. I hope that you found this endgame to be helpful. And this is an essential endgame. So this is very, very important. So I'm going to ask you guys a question. Do you guys want me to do another puzzle with you guys, or do you want another endgame? So let me know what you guys want. Do you guys want another puzzle or endgame? So David says, yep, thank you for teaching the Queen versus Rick Endgame. So that's good. I'm glad that you found that to be very helpful. So Madavi, okay, you guys, you guys want Endgames and puzzles. Okay, and that's fair enough right now. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I am gonna give you guys a puzzle. So let me go ahead and set up a puzzle. And this is going to be a fun puzzle. So let me set this up. So, okay, I'm going to set up a puzzle. And after we do the puzzle, then I'm going to teach you guys another end game. I hope I have enough time. But let me set this up. And at first, this position is going to be daunting right now. But that's okay. I think this is when you're playing chess, and especially if you're under 1000, never resign. That's very, very important advice because your opponent can still make mistakes. And even though if you're in a completely losing position, that doesn't mean you're gonna lose. There's always hope. Yeah. Okay, you guys. This is the position right over here, and it is right to move. Actually, I'll make things more daunting. Um, no, actually, yeah. I'll also add a knight. Okay, actually, I'll add more 2 knights here. Okay. Okay, in this position, it is white to move, and the question is, what should white play right now? Okay, so Madave and Andreas says queen goes to h7, and that's correct. Again, you want to consider all checks, and again, and you need to follow through, calculate. Queen to h7. This looks like a very dumb move because just it's like I don't need my queen. I'm just sucking, but actually, this is the correct move. The black king is forced to take the queen, and now the rook can go to the rook can take the pawn on g7, and again, black's only move is to go king to h8, and then rook is going to go to h7, and then black's only move is to go king to g8, and then now the checkmate move is rook b to g7, and that's a checkmate. So this is why when you're playing chess, you need to consider all checks. That's very, very important. So I'm glad. Yes, I know. You want a harder puzzle. Wow. Okay. It's kind of, let's see, harder puzzle. Okay, do you guys want a very difficult puzzle? I'll give you guys a I mean, I can give you guys a difficult puzzle, but I don't want it to be very like, I don't wanna make it too hard, but if you guys want a harder puzzle, um, no. I'll make you guys I'll show you guys a puzzle, but you have to think out of the box. This puzzle I'm gonna show you, is gonna be a lot more difficult, okay? But again, this puzzle is not like it's you have to really think about it. Okay. Okay. Now this is a very okay, let's see. Queen goes here, king goes as there, and then we also have a knight right over here. And in this position, it is white to move. And what I'm gonna do right now, let me just make sure that I set this up correctly, and I did. Okay, so this is the much harder puzzle right now. And the last move was this queen going over to h5, and it's white to move, and we gotta figure out what to do. Okay, so the most obvious move is king goes to h6, but the problem with this move is I'm gonna go I mean, okay, first of all, you are threatening checkmate multiple times, and because of that, as black, I need to find a way to draw, or I have to fight. So the queen is gonna go ahead and go to e2. I'm checking the king. Then the king goes here, and guess what? I'm gonna continue um to check your king right now, and then this is gonna get very, very crazy right now, right? So because of that, king to king goes to a6. That's not the move right now. So we need to do something. We gotta win in this position. We don't want to draw. Okay, and the move is okay, king goes to b4. Okay, so king goes to b4. Okay, that's a good try, but the problem with this move is you know, I'm still gonna check y'all. Well, okay. Well, I mean, you know, I can still I'm still gonna check y'all, and then things are gonna get kind of crazy right now. I can go here. I don't really care. It's just gonna be a lot of queen checks right now. We're gonna go ahead and go back for a second. Okay. So the move is we don't want to move the king over to b4. We don't want to move the king to a6. Um we still want to win. So what do we do in this position? King goes to a4. So the problem is that if you continue again, if the king goes to these squares, then my queen, I'm still going to check y'all. Okay, and then it's gonna get really crazy right now because I'm still going to I'm gonna still check you right now. Okay, so we gotta go back for a second. We have to think out of the box right now. We need to win. Okay, so Never Sleep says queen to g5. Yep, I told you. I tell you, this is puzzle is a lot harder than the first puzzle that I showed you guys. We are actually gonna go ahead and sacrifice the queen on g5. And this looks like a very crazy move because it's like, oh, you're just giving away the queen, right? This is actually the right move, and I'm gonna tell you guys why. First of all, the queen is checking the king, but if you notice right now, actually no, it's white to move. So where should we go now? Where should white move in this position right now? We're gonna go king to a6, and surprisingly, if you think about it, does black have any checks, good checks right now? The answer is no. I mean, the queen can go here or here, but the king can just simply just take it, right? The queen, I mean, the queen and the king, like the geometry doesn't match up. The queen can't. I mean, the queen can't even go to f1 and check. So because of that, black has no good checks right now. But notice you are threatening checkmate right now, right? So what I'm gonna do is, and notice again, this knight is too far away. This knight can't even check the king too. So, um, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and stop the checkmate, or I need to do something. Well, okay, let's say that the queen goes to e7. Then what do you guys do? What should I do? B7, yep, B7, queen takes, and then we simply just take the queen with the pawn, and then guess what? The pawn checkmates the king. How nice. Yes. Have you guys ever checkmated with a pawn before? I think it's really, it's like if you can checkmate with a pawn, I think that's really awesome. But so I'm gonna give you guys another you have, and Gia says yes. Okay, that's awesome. Okay. So another way I could try to stop the checkmate is to an in passant checkmate. Wow, that must been an awesome checkmate. What about moving bishop to stop? So yeah, I'm gonna be talking about this. So let's say that the bishop takes the pawn right now. What does what does white do in this position? That's my question. So what should white do? Okay, so Andrea says B7. Let's see what happens. Okay, it does not quite work. And the answer is we're gonna go ahead and go pawn to C7. Yes, and if you really think about it again, this queen still has no good checks, right? And again, this is a crazy position because what happens if the bishop takes the pawn? Then what do we do as white? So we're gonna simply just move the pawn to c8. Yep. And we can promote it to a queen, or we can also promote the pawn to a rook 2. And then that's the checkmate. So that's great. And so the question is, so what would you do if I move the queen here? Yeah, exactly. So if the queen goes to g8, then how do we do checkmate? B7, and then that's a checkmate. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this puzzle. This is a crazy puzzle right now. So, yeah, fantastic. So, I hope you guys enjoyed it. What I'm gonna do now is I can show you guys another quick end game. So let me go ahead and do that. Actually, you know what? I hope we have enough time. Let's see. Okay, let's go ahead and let me set this up right now. Okay, so this is gonna okay, so this puzzle it's gonna be easy and then it's gonna be more difficult, okay? So obviously right now is if it's okay, so it's white to move, how should white proceed in this position right now? And black is going this way. So what is white's okay, bishop goes to e4, and then this is very straightforward. We want the bishop to go to e4 because it is controlling the h1 square, right? If the pawn goes here, it's just this is going to be a draw, right? Okay, now I'm going to make things a little bit more difficult right now. The pawn is going to be here, my king is going to be here, your bishop is going to be here, and your king is going to be right here right now. Okay, you guys, this is still a draw right now. So the problem, okay, so it's white to move. The pawn wants the queen on h1, and the only way to draw is we need to find a way for this bishop to get on this long diagonal. Um, so I see some answers right now. I will say hi everyone. Okay, so bishop goes to a2. Okay, this move doesn't quite work, and it makes I see what you're trying to do because you want to go bishop to d5 to be honest, like that. I know, but my question is, what do you do if I go king to e5, right? So yeah, I don't think you have a good solution right now. Okay, so because of that, bishop to a2 doesn't quite work. Some people say king to d2. Okay, king goes to d2, and when you go here, you are checking my king. And of course, your bishop wants to go to e4. So I'm going to go ahead and go king to f4. I'm going to do this because my king wants to control the e4 square. Do we have any good follow-up right now? Okay, so let's try that again. Someone says king to d1. Well, okay, actually, we have a follow-up right now. King to c3. The problem with king to c3 is I'm gonna promote the pawn to a queen right now. So it doesn't quite work. I mean, it's a good try, but it doesn't quite work right now. Someone says king to never sleep says king to d1. Okay, if you go here, you're checking my king, but I am gonna go king here to f4. But the problem right now is this bishop it's still controlling e4 right now. So if you go there, I don't know what else to do. I mean, you could try going here, but you can't stop my pawn from promoting right now. Let's go back for a second. Andrea says king. So wait, let's go back for a second. In this position, it is white to move, and we did try some potential moves, but they don't quite work. I'm gonna give you guys a hint. We want to king goes to c3. Okay, so here's what the problem right now is. If you go king to c3, I still go here. Well, actually, no, that doesn't work. But no, let's say that I go here right now. Then you're not gonna be able to save. Yeah, I know. I know. This is very, very difficult. This is what I'm gonna give you guys a hint. You need to figure out how to get this bishop on e4, and this king needs to protect the bishop on e4. That's what needs to happen right now. But also notice this bishop, it's on the same diagonal as both kings. So the hint is the ideal position. What we want to do is we want to get the bishop to e4, and the king needs to eventually go on d4, e3. That's how we're going to draw. So Andreas says king to d3. Yep, we're going to go ahead and do that. And this move looks pretty weird. And I'm going to go ahead and move the pawn to h2. Okay, and then it is white to move. King to a3, and we're making very good progress right now. The reason why this works is because this bishop now, it's checking the king right now. Once the king gets out of check, then we can go bishop to e4, and guess what? We successfully found a way to stop this pawn from promoting. That's very beautiful. Also notice that the king can go to d4. And this also works because the bishop is checking the king. Once this king goes here, then we can simply just move the bishop to e4. So that's great. So I hope that you guys found value in this lecture, and I'll just tell you guys some more information about what's going on. So every Monday night, let me just show you guys. So I'm gonna go to chess.com. Actually, no, I am on chess.com. So every Monday night, I host a chess tournament, and it's a blitz tournament, and it's hosted by Daily Chess Musings .com. Let me go ahead and show you guys. Hold on. So I'm gonna go to clubs, and then if we go here, so every Monday night I host a chess tournament, and you guys are welcome to play in it. It's from 7. It starts at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and I host it every Monday night. So I hope that you guys can play in it. It's very, very fun. People of all skill levels are welcome to play in it, and it's very fun. And I get to broadcast everything on my YouTube channel. Now, the other thing I want to just let you guys know is, ideally, if you're under 1,000, if you can send me one of your chess games, I will be happy to analyze one of your chess games for free on my YouTube channel. Okay. If you're interested in chess lessons, you can check out my website. It's Chess by Lauren. Right now, I am having some technical difficulties right now, so my website won't load. But if you go to chessbylauren.com, you can get to my website, and you can learn more about me. So again, as a friendly reminder, is if you're rated under 1,000, I share your game with me. I'd be happy to analyze the chess game with you. So how do I send my games? Just email it to me, or the other easy, yeah, send it to me. The other thing you can do is just share it. You can post it in the comments. So that's another way you can share the game with me, or you can email me the game. So there's like many ways, but if you share it in the comments, I think that's the easy way to do it. So yeah. So you guys, thank you so much for watching me. I enjoy teaching you guys, and again, I do upload a new video every Wednesday. So come back if so I do invite you to subscribe to my channel, and I'm gonna get going, but thank you so much, and I hope to see you guys soon. Okay, bye.